Hi, this is MIcornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. I want to deal with the topic for the next few days, and I want to speak about how to build the resilience. Now, in life, it is very important for us to speak about resilience because we are living in difficult times. Life is not easy, and I always say to people, life is not for mama's babies because there are challenges, there are problems, and I'm sure as I'm speaking to you right now, you're aware that you're facing a lot of challenges in every area of your life. And there are many of us who are thinking that others are better than them because of the problems that you're facing. You're thinking, ooh, I'm facing too much problems, and everybody else seems to be comfortable and they are facing better problems. And I want to let you know that everyone in life is facing problems. And that is why the topic of resilience is very important. And I want to speak about how to build resilience. And I want to talk about one nugget a day for the next few days, or rather, maybe two nuggets a day that will help us to actually get to where we want to get to. And you'll be helped in this regard. Now, the first nugget today that I want to speak about is what we call learning. Now, learn is very important because when you learn in life, learn, got information, get some education about things, develop yourself mentally and so on, you are able to actually face life more better and develop what we call resilience in your life. So you are able to treat setbacks as lessons. And I want to say that most of the time, remember that life is throwing you with curveballs, setbacks, challenges, and you need to treat the setbacks as lessons most of the time. And when we feel that we have been disadvantaged by problems and challenges, when you look at it actually with a different eye to say, but this is a lesson, what am I learning out of this? It becomes something of a different, because your approach then becomes different. Now, don't see any challenge or any setback as a permanent failure, because most of the time we beat ourselves up because we think that we have failed when we have actually just gone through a setback. You have just gone through a challenge of that particular time. I always say tough times never last long, but remember, tough people do last long. And that's the reason why I want to emphasize that when you're facing difficulties and you're climbing up a mountain, remember that that tough time is just but for a moment. It will soon disappear because it is not going to stay as a permanent failure for your life. Now, to develop resilience, you need to know that, because you need to learn that setbacks are just lessons, and you need to learn from every single setback. In fact, you must search for a lesson out of every setback and ask yourself, what do I learn from this one? Because it is not a permanent failure, I know. It is just a lesson for now, and what am I learning out of it? Now, ask yourself what the experience what experience teaches you out of that lesson. What are you learning? And ask yourself, and how do you then learn and move from here? Because it's very important, because experience can teach you, and how that knowledge can help you to move forward. And this is very key. And majority of us don't actually go deeper into looking at our challenges that way. And we look at them as permanent failures. We look at them as horrible problems that we cannot overcome at all. But I want to tell you now that everybody's got the potential to overcome every challenge that comes to your life. It's just that also, most of the time, we are so much in problems to an extent that we think that they are consistent with us, as if problems have got eyes to look at us and they are actually befalling us at all times. But because we are not aware that everybody else actually is facing challenges in their lives, therefore we tend to feel that it is only us who are going through challenges. And I want to say to you, you must learn. So therefore, treat setbacks as lessons and don't treat them as permanent failures. So always ask yourself for that, the experience, what experience that teaches you, and also how can you gain knowledge from there on and become a better person. So that's very, very important that we do actually look at that. Now, the second thing that I want us to look at today is what we call reflect. You need to reflect in every single situation that you're faced with in order to develop resilience. Take time to understand what happened in every situation that you go through, and analyze it, reflect it on it, and just don't take it light, because there are things that happen to us, whether it's a loss of a loved one, whether it's a failure in an exam, or whether it's a loss of a job, for instance. And some of the people that go through divorce, and you go through difficult times whereby your own children are actually struggling in life, or maybe something has befallen them and so on. And that's an incident of your life. So therefore you need to sit and reflect and say, I need to understand what happened. So I need to understand that and how it affected you as well. Because sometimes we just think that we are slightly affected while we're deeply affected. And sometimes we take it deeply affected while it's not really as deeply affected as it is viewed to be. And therefore we need to reflect properly in order to know if we are deeply affected or really by just a minor effect upon our lives. And that reflection is very, very important. But it comes with the knowledge of what happened and understanding exactly what has happened, because when you don't understand what has happened, you cannot reflect properly. And that's very important that we emphasize that then you need to make sure that you reflect and what has affected you and how far did it affect you as well. And what you can learn from it, we have said earlier, that when you need to learn from something is when you reflect, you must always at that particular time start to identify what you can learn from that particular situation. And when you do that as early as possible, you are able actually to cope in the situation that you're facing, and you are able to become better out of it, or to come off better out of that situation. Now, reflection helps you to make wiser choices, because after reflection, you are able to choose what direction to take. You are able to choose what to do and what not to do. And sometimes because of, we deal with emotions. And most of us dwell on emotions to an extent that we make decisions based on emotions. And sometimes whatever decisions that we are making are not wiser decisions at all. And the choices that we make is because we were so much in pain and in problems to an extent that whatever choice that we've made has actually limited us to do right choices or wiser choices completely. Instead of repeating the same mistakes, we can actually say, this is a choice that I'll make. Because otherwise, if you make wrong choices, you will actually find yourself subject to the same mistake and befall yourself in the same mistake like you were before. And I want you to be aware that when you have reflected properly, you are able actually to make right choices, that the same mistake cannot repeat itself. Remember that mistake that is done twice is actually something that you can doubt whether it was a mistake. Maybe that becomes a decision thereof, because you cannot actually repeat mistakes several times. If it's a mistake, it must be a point that you are able to improve from it and tell yourself, I can walk out of this mistake and improve. But it's only after making wiser choices. And wiser choices comes with proper reflection after something has befallen you, or a challenge or a setback or a problem that has befallen you. And you are able to reflect properly. Then you're making right and wiser challenges. And that mistake cannot be repeated again. I want to end up here today, your host, MIcornus Phokane. I'm the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. Remember, on this platform, we are developing ordinary young men into extraordinary men of wisdom, integrity, and character. And we do this through kingdom principles. And I want to let you know that on this platform, we are dealing with our young men to develop them. But remember our social media platforms as well, that they will actually help you, that our Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum, we have got a lot, actually, of material that we have posted on that regard. My personal Facebook page, MIcornus Phokane. Remember to follow us, to like these pages. Don't forget our Instagram and our TikTok account as well. And the good Lord will bless us to do that. Please follow us, like those pages. Don't forget our YouTube channel as well, which is under Young Men Empowerment Forum. And we'd love to urge you please to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So please make sure that you click the notification button and share these platforms with your loved one as well, that they may gain and get something out of this. And I believe strongly that you will learn as you do so. This was part one of this great topic, how to develop resilience. And we'll continue with part two tomorrow. May the good Lord bless you and allow us to check out right here and say cheers for now.